Hey everyone, the numbers are in for September 2020 over at Sunrise Beach in Panama City Beach. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. It's a very, very active real estate market, a very active condo market in Panama City Beach. Let me get right to the numbers and just show you what I'm talking about. Remember, the beginning of the pandemic, we wanted to start tracking showing activity. So how many people were getting out and actually looking at real estate? The chart you're looking at here comes from a company called Showing Time. And the orange line is 2020. The blue line, is 2019. So we knew early on March that we were expecting to see a major fall off in people getting out to look at real estate. So, but we wanted to track and see when they were going to start coming back to the market. By early June, surprisingly to me, maybe not to some, but we were already showing as much real estate in late May, early June as we were last year. And if you follow this, it's pretty interesting. It tracks pretty closely that since then, we've been pretty much showing about the same amount of real estate as we did in 2019, except for a little anomaly here. So the next part of that is, okay, if people are getting out to look at real estate, are they actually making offers? Are they trying to buy things? Are they making offers that sellers are accepting? Contracts being written. So we track a number of things to keep up with the market, but this column here is the number of new contracts that are being written in any given week, and we wanted to compare that with the same week in 2019 to see what was going on, see what kind of trends we could see. So look at the month of September. 67% more contracts written this week in 2020 than in 2019. 74% more in the second week of September. 27% more the next week, 17% more the next week, 52% more contracts written the following week. Those are huge numbers. If you think about it, we're showing about the same amount of real estate year over year. You would expect about the same number of contracts year over year. So maybe up 4% or down 3%, up 8 or 10, things like that. So to see numbers as high as 67 and 74% still in the market. This is a continuation of what we've been seeing for a few months now. It's just another sign of a very, very active, strong real estate market. Again, you all know I love this chart. This is a chart looking at all of the condos built in Panama City Beach, but just the newer buildings. So anything built since 2005. If we're comparing just with Sunrise Beach with the market, I want to compare just Sunrise Beach with the newer buildings, apples to apples. The red line here represents the number of units that are for sale at any given time. The black line shows us the number of actual closings. Again, this factors in represents a few different things, but the months of inventory number is the number I like to focus on. It combines all the data in this chart to give us a kind of a nice, neat little number to understand the market. Remember, traditionally 5 or 6 months of inventory in real estate represented a neutral market, while it took 30 days to run an ad in a newspaper or magazine. People would have to get those publications, make decisions to come and look at a unit. And that whole process, getting to contract closing, used to take 5 or 6 months on average. Now I think that's more like 4 or 5 months, since it doesn't take us that long to get marketing going. So if 4 or 5 months of inventory is neutral or normal, anything less than that is a strong market, is a seller's market. That means things are happening faster. People are making offers quicker. Closings are happening faster. So look at these numbers. We're still after an obvious pause in the market since the around when the pandemic first started or first hit. We've been very, very strong since then. June, we were at 3.64, July under 3, August right around 3. Again, September, 2.5 months of inventory. Theoretically, that means, think about this, that means that anything that's for sale today would be gone in 2.5 months, closed, if nothing else new came to the market. That's an extremely hot market. Real estate, it doesn't move that fast normally in neutral conditions, but that's the market we're in. So it's important to understand it's a very hot, active market. We look at Sunrise Beach specifically. The chart's going to bounce around a lot in here just because there's not that many units. You can see Sunrise Beach has generally been in at least a neutral market, if not a little stronger than that. The month of September was a little slower just because a couple new listings came to the market and only one sold, but I expect that to drop off and probably throttle back to at least neutral again next month. To go through some of the activity, one unit sold in September. Unit 904 sold, closed for $400,000. There are 2 units that are under contract right now. Unit 1002, the asking price was $405,000. That's not the sales price of the contract price. That is the asking price. It is under contract though, and 1801 is under contract. The asking price was $559,900. I hope you get well. A couple things to keep in mind: that we're still in a very active market. If you're selling in this market, it's important to not leave any money on the table. You can see, hopefully you understand, things are happening very quickly, or very quickly in some cases, but there's a lot of demand. And in many cases, there's a lot of demand coming from buyers who are interested in purchasing and maybe went after a unit somewhere else and didn't get the deal. So they're now ultra motivated because they're trying to buy something. They found a unit they liked and they lost out in a multiple offer situation. So they're really inspired now the next time to make an even stronger offer, to do everything they can to make a deal close. And sometimes they've been through that process 2 or 3 times. So it would be very easy to line up the comps, the comparable sales, the last 6 months of sales, and show you what the market value is. But keep this in mind: there's a lot that's happened in the last 6 months. The market has really gained a lot of momentum really in the last 3 or 4. Focus on that when you're looking at pricing. And if you are setting a price, if you are selling, putting something on the market pretty soon, don't leave any money on the table. This isn't, if units have been selling at 400, this isn't the time to price something at 400 or 403 or 405. Depending on your condition and your floor height and rental history, those kind of things, that'll certainly have a lot to do with it. But a unit, if units are averaging, just say 400,000 for a theory here, and you have a unit that's on a desirable floor with excellent rental income and maybe some upgrades, we might be talking about pricing that up 8 to 10%. 425, 430 to me certainly wouldn't be out of the ballpark for a couple reasons. We see the demand, and also we don't have a lot of competition now. That we also, in case, we would take this case by case and look at who your competitors are in a certain building and the overall market. So it's just not as arbitrary as price up 10%. But in many cases, I would contend that if you're pricing around where things have just sold, you're potentially leaving some money on the table. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking about selling, if you are thinking about selling, give us a call. We'll let you know what we can do for you. Most of you are signed up for our e-alert system. If you're not, remember, shoot me a text or an email, and I can get you signed up for a system that will send you an email anytime a unit in Sunrise Beach comes up for sale, if it goes under contract, if it drops a price, or if it closes. And the best, you get the accurate closing date and closing price straight from our MLS system. And we can set this up so that you get notified as often as things happen, or even as little as once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, just to keep up with things. So, and in fact, we can put that on for any building or neighborhood that you want to track, not just Sunrise Beach. Hope you guys found this helpful. I hope you understand what's going on in the real estate market out there. Stay safe. We'll be back with you next month. Thanks so much for watching.